Yes, I hear you. You may not be happy with the 2024 cost of living adjustments, yet let's maximize your retirement with these 6 impactful tips that are going to propel you forward. Here we go. So first, as we talk about these tips, let's do this and make a quick list of the things that you need to know for the 2024 that pertains to your Social Security. And what I'm encouraging you to do, I'm a big fan of having a notebook. So you should have a retirement guide notebook that you can throw all of your notes in. And this is what I'm going to recommend for you to jot your information down so that way it's all on the same page. So let's run them quickly and then go from there. So number 1, the cost of living adjustment is 3.2% for 2024. And I hear all of you, you are thinking, really, this is just not enough, because when you look at some of the major categories of spendings that you have, it doesn't even compare. You have much higher expenses that pertain to cost of medicine and car repairs and insurance. And I hear you loud and clear, but let's just make a note of it right now that it is 3.2 and that's what we have to work with. Number 2 is the percentage contribution of the earnings towards Social Security. The new ceiling for 2024 is $168,600. Important point number 3, your earnings limit has increased from $21,240 in year 2023 to $22,320 in year 2024 if you haven't reached your normal retirement age yet. So that's going to happen between the ages of 66 and 67 at this point. And you just need to be aware of that number so that way you don't make more money, otherwise you're going to have to contribute back some of your earnings, $1 out of the $2 earned. Point number 4, if you do reach your normal retirement age in 2024, and this only counts for the few months that you have that are going to be before your birth date, then you have to remember this number. The new number for 2024 is $59,520. Once you do reach your normal retirement age, then you can go to town and make as much money as you need and you don't have to worry about any limitations. Point number 5, as you know, you need to have 40 quarters in order to earn Social Security, and there is a minimum number that you have to earn each quarter. Well, the number for 2024 is $1,730, which is up $90 from last year. So these are the most important points for kind of to keep track and use this as your guide for 2024. Now let's talk about how we can actually use this information and make it useful and impactful for you this year. So here's an important thing to consider. You cannot control what the government does and what the cost of living is going to be. Yet there are certain things that you can control, and that is going to be how you respond to these changes and what you can do about them. And there's really 2 things that you can do, and that's what we're going to break down, so that way make sure you have your notebook and you have your pencil, so that way you can jot some of these things down and then decide what makes sense and what works for you. So you can either, number 1, increase your income, or number 2, work on and decrease your expenses. So let's break them down and see exactly what we can do. Number 1 will be to increase your income, and here I encourage you to think big and say, you know what, I am going to go ahead and get maybe a part-time gig or a part-time job, or maybe start a business. And here, think about the things that you enjoy doing. Maybe you are going to go work at the nearby bookstore or to the cafe, and of course there are multiple benefits of getting a small or part-time job. You have your social interaction, you get some extra income going, you have a schedule. So think about those things as you're brainstorming your income ideas. Number 2, let's brainstorm your expenses. We're going to reduce our expenses here. This is where I think it gives you the most control on what you can do, so that way you can maximize your year and have control over how well your retirement is going in 2024. So let's break it down. What we're talking about here are the major expenses, the things that you have to focus on, not the things that are fun, but things that you need to have all the time. So the first one is, of course, a roof over your head, whether you're renting or whether you own your home, whether you may still have a mortgage or not, you still have your property taxes to pay if you're a homeowner. Then we're also talking about utilities, we're talking about your cell phone bill, food, the cost of insurance, and then of course taking care of your medical expenses. Let's dive into each one and talk about what exactly you can do for each one of those. So here are some suggestions that I have for you for utilities. If you think that there's not a lot you can do, you may be surprised. There's tons of opportunities because of the new technology. Like as an example, you can replace your light bulbs with LED lights, so that way they're going to last longer. Think about your thermostat. Maybe you put it on a more effective programming or replace it altogether with something like Nest. Another option is if you have availability for this from your utility company, but you can actually get on a budget plan where you get billed the same amount every month and it doesn't go up or down. This way you have a stable number that you look at every month as an option. Another option is also to shop for your energy suppliers. So take a look at what your bill every month and see who is your supplier of your electricity and see if there's options for you to be able to shop and see if you could get discounts or maybe promotions for a certain period of time. Next up, let's talk about insurance. And I know that insurance rates have been biting in some of the states, like for example, Florida, that I had to be connected with. And here's a good thing. The good thing is, like, unlike changing like medical insurance and going to different companies that you can only do during open enrollment period, you can shop for homeowners and auto insurance anytime during the year. So I encourage you to sit down and kind of figure things out. There's quite a few things that you can do here. So number one, talk to an insurance broker. That is someone who has access to multiple carriers, and ask them to shop the insurance policies for you. Ask them what you're looking for and tell them that maybe let's go and talk to local providers. Let's go and talk to a smaller carriers that may have more flexibility than some of the bigger ones. This is really what is the benefit of using a broker rather than just going to one carrier that is only going to give you one set of quotes and say kind of, you know, take it or leave it. Also, when you review your policy, make sure that you have sufficient coverage. Decide for yourself that maybe it makes sense for you to increase your deductible if you have a good rainy day fund, because if you do increase your deductible, your premium is going to decrease as well. And of course, don't forget to ask for a bundling discount where you can put together your homeowner's insurance policy as well as your auto. Next up, cell phone, something that it has become a necessity for all of us. Think about your plan. Again, review your monthly bill and see what's on there that maybe is not necessary, or perhaps it might be an opportunity for you to change a provider or see what other options are there available for you. Maybe you can reach out to them and say, hey, are there any discounts? Can you give me some kind of a break, or can you give me something that I can work with for the next 6 months or so? You might be surprised. They may actually offer you some options because you made the effort and gave them a call. Next up, let's talk about our food budget, which is a big percentage of our expenses as well, especially in the last couple of years where the food costs in some categories have increased tremendously. And I get it, it is something of a necessity, but it doesn't mean that you can't find some ways to save. So think about your monthly bills and see if perhaps if you have a membership to a couple of different warehouses like Costco, BJ's, or Sam's, do you really need to have a subscription to all three? Perhaps just picking one that is the best one where you shop the most is going to make sense to you. So that's one. Two, consider some of the smaller grocery chains that provide really budget-friendly opportunities. Like one of my favorites is Aldi, and then the other one is Lidl. So depending if they're available in your area or not, do give them an opportunity and check them out as well. And the last category is medical, which has been a hot topic because it has really seen some increase in premiums as well as the cost in the last couple years, which is also a big part of the inflation percentage. And here, just think about some things that, for example, if you're heading to a pharmacy because you have certain prescriptions that you need to fill, what I have found that different pharmacies will charge you different amounts and different rates for different medicines. So I do encourage you to compare prices between providers like Walgreens and CVS and Costco and Walmart. You might be surprised. So if you go in every month to the pharmacy, see if there's an opportunity for you to save by doing a mail order and maybe getting a prescription for 3 months instead of just 1 month. So as you can see, there are ways and things that you can control, even though know you may not be happy with the cost of living increase that we have for 2024. Yet the goal is to say, you know what, I am grateful for this, so let's just keep moving forward, enjoy our life, enjoy our retirement, and just keep hustling forward. And now I'm curious, what are some of the things and strategies that you have implemented that have saved you time and saved you money and helped you with overall planning? Please share this in the comments with us so that way I can also then share it with others to help them have a good retirement life.